Sean went to his boss and asked for a transfer, a fresh start in a different territory, far away from his mother's constant meddling. It would mean uprooting our lives, moving Barbie to a new school, and I'd need to find a job in a new city. But the thought of finally being free from Barbara's suffocating presence was worth it. When Sean told me he got the transfer, I couldn't have been more thrilled. We quietly packed up our lives, the movers came, loaded up our things, and we had the house deep cleaned before we left.
I'm so excited about the new adventure.
Don't worry, we'll take good care of your stuff.
Even though it was a bit overwhelming, we knew this was the best decision for our family. Sean went to visit his mother one last time to return the keys. He didn't tell me much about that visit when he got back, but something had changed in him. He came home a different man. Without a word, he took my phone and blocked his mother's number. Then, he did the same on his own. We didn't have social media profiles, so there was no need to worry about that. The finality of it all settled in, but I didn't push him to talk. I figured he'd share when he was ready. It wasn't until months later, after we were settled and comfortable in our new home, that late one night the subject came up. We were lounging on the couch, Charlie fast asleep on Sean's chest, and Barbie stretched across my lap, her soft snores filling the quiet room. Sean was absent-mindedly rubbing Charlie's back, his face calm but distant, like he was lost in thought. "What happened when you gave her the keys back? Are you ready to talk about it yet? If you're not ready, I understand, but I am curious." He took a deep breath and shifted slightly, careful not to disturb Charlie. His voice was low as he started speaking.
I guess it's time I tell you.
He explained how he'd driven to his mother's house with the keys in his pocket, bracing himself for whatever scene might unfold. When he got there, Barbara had been waiting, all smiles, as if nothing had happened. She opened the door and eagerly ushered him inside, her eyes darting behind him, searching.
Did you bring the baby?
No, I just brought your keys. Our things are cleared out and we had the house deep cleaned. If there's anything that needs attention, just let me know. I even cut the grass one last time.
He laid the keys on her kitchen table with a soft clatter, but the air between them was heavy with unspoken words. Barbara's smile faded, confusion clouding her face.
What are you talking about, Sean?
You had us served with eviction papers, Mom.
He said quietly.
We're leaving. We're done.
She blinked at him, then her face twisted in anger.
I didn't think you'd actually go through with it. You're my son, Sean. When you said you wanted to come over tonight, I thought you were coming to apologize. Not this. You can't just take my grandchildren away from me. You're choosing her over your own mother.
Sean told me how she'd ranted, throwing every manipulative tactic she could muster at him. Guilt, tears, accusations. She'd tried to make him feel like he was betraying her, like I was the one tearing our family apart. But this time, he didn't let her get to him.
I told her that I was done, that I wasn't going to let her destroy our family anymore.
Sean said, his voice tight as he recalled the moment.
I told her that this wasn't about choosing sides, it was about doing what was right for my wife and my kids. I told her that her behavior was toxic, and if she couldn't respect our boundaries, then she wasn't welcome in our lives.
I could see the pain in his eyes as he recounted the conversation, but there was also a sense of finality in his words. He had stood up to her, and it had cost him a relationship he'd spent his whole life navigating carefully. But it was a cost he was finally willing to pay.
She didn't take it well.
He continued.
She started screaming, saying she'd fight for custody, that I'd regret this. But by then, I didn't care. I walked out, left the keys on the table, and never looked back.
I reached over and placed my hand on his, squeezing gently. "I'm sorry it had to be like that." Sean shook his head, his gaze softening as he looked at me.
It was long overdue. I'm just sorry I didn't see it sooner. I should have protected you from her from the start.
We sat there in silence for a while, the weight of everything settling in, but it was a good silence. We had weathered the storm, and now, as I watched him hold Charlie and felt Barbie's small weight across my lap, I knew we were stronger for it. Whatever had happened in that final conversation between Sean and Barbara, it was clear that he had made his choice. Our family, our future, was his priority now. And as we sat together surrounded by the peace of our new life, I realized that we had finally found the one thing we had been searching for all along: freedom and long-awaited peace.